All right, my fellow dad, welcome back to another episode of Forge Father FM. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about picking yourself back up after a breakup, after a divorce, after getting cheated on. I've been there before. I've been in that place where I've got my heart ripped out of my chest. Everything that I thought was truth turned out to be a lie. And I'm going to share my story with you of how I conquered it, overcame that, and have created what I have today. But first, if you don't know who I am, my name is Travis Stetzel. I created the Forge Father. I'm an athlete, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a businessman. And I was put on this earth to build uncommon men. Men who are jacked, who are lean, who are strong, who are fit, but are also very connected fathers. They're showing up as the role model for their kids. They're connected husbands. They're successful in business. They're successful with providing and producing for their family. And they're men of God. They're walking that path of faith. And when we speak about faith, having this belief in God, having faith that God has your back, that's where it all starts. God has your back. But there's going to be times in your life where you don't think he has your back, where you don't think anybody has your back. There's going to be times where you feel completely alone, where you lose that faith, but you also lose that belief in yourself. And so I was having a conversation with a fellow dad earlier today. He has 2 kids. About a year and a half ago, he came to find out that his wife at the time, who is now his ex-wife, was cheating on him with his boss, of all people. To make things worse, they were living in a completely different country where he didn't speak the language. And so when that happened, complete split, he was basically on a deserted island, all on his own. So he moved back to where he and his family lived before, separated from his 2 kids. His ex-wife now with her boss. So imagine that, having a family, but then being cheated on and essentially lied to and just destroyed by somebody who you trust and love, respect. Imagine being in that position and just having it all ripped away from you. And so here he's been for the last year and a half, feeling sorry for himself, not taking care of himself, seeing everything in the world as negative. Everything in the world is against him. And so he's been in this pit. He's ready to come out of this pit, but there's a big problem. His faith has worn very, very thin. But worst of all, he has no belief in himself. No confidence, no certainty. When he looks at himself in the mirror, he just sees this guy that let himself go, got fat, has a dad bod. This is the way it's supposed to be. That's what he kept saying. Maybe this is the way it's supposed to be. Fuck that. If that's the story that you want to choose to believe, then that's how it'll be. And so this is a story that I have not shared publicly yet, and I'm going to share it now. So many, many years ago, my wife and I have been married for over 12 years. Prior to getting married, when my wife and I were dating, we had been dating for nearly 3 years. I loved her. Then she cheated on me with my boss, of all people. And so I was in the same spot with somebody whom I trusted, whom I leaned on, whom I saw myself being with for the rest of my life, punching her hand into my chest, grabbing my heart, and ripping it the fuck out. In addition, throwing it on the ground and just smashing the shit out of it. So there's that. And I remember when I was in that situation, Not having kids, thankfully, because that throws in a whole different dynamic, but I felt absolutely alone. No support from anywhere. I had my friends, but I was alone. And I remember I was basically at a crossroads. I can go this route of complete devastation and destruction. I can go drink this away and party this away and drown out the depression and just sedate it and disconnect completely. Or I can go this other route and just pour completely into me and just build myself into the baddest motherfucker possible and give that to the world. That's what I chose to do. In fact, the same night that I found out this happened, after everything went down, I went to the fucking gym. And I went and worked out. Just took out my anger, my aggression on the weights. Because I didn't want to go do anything else. I didn't want to go destruct myself. I didn't want to go mess things up any worse and just pull myself into this deep pit. I wanted to develop myself. And what I found through this whole process was it wasn't my wife to blame 100%. She did that for a reason. I was hardly ever there. We were young. I was hardly ever there. I was building a business. I was hardly ever paying attention to her. I wasn't putting her first. There are a number of signs that were popping up prior to that. Then it happened. Do I condone it? No. But I've forgiven it. Because once that happened, I basically eliminated her from my life. I said, fuck you. I never want to talk to you again. Out of my life. You're dead to me. She actually moved away. She moved to a completely different state. I didn't even talk to her for a year. Deleted her number. She was out of my life. Until she came back into my life. I remember I was so resistant. I was like, no, you had your chance. I'm the prize. You lost the prize. That's why you're back, because you realize there's nothing else better out there than this. Because for that year that we were apart, I did nothing else but just develop myself. I poured everything I could into myself to personally develop. I was not going to sit in a pit of depression, sedating, partying, and just wrecking my life even more. I was going to build myself up. And so I went all in on my business. I went all in on the people that I was serving. And long story short, and I'll actually have my wife on for a deeper segment on this. But my wife, who was not my wife at the time, obviously, she came back into my life and just would not stop. She was relentless, trying to get me to meet up and let's go have coffee, let's get lunch, let's get dinner. Nope, out of my life. But there's this one day, God told me to just go meet her for lunch. If anything, meet her for lunch and get some closure with all this. There's a reason she's not going away. Just go have lunch with her. So that's what I did. Had lunch, had a great conversation, was able to talk about a lot of things, get a lot of things out there. It wasn't all just her fault. A lot of it was on me. But I remember there was something telling me to give her another chance in that moment. And so we decided to be friends again and to see where things would go. And that's what we did. Well, 12 years plus some, married, 5 kids. There's nobody that I trust more than my wife now. There's nobody that I depend on more than my wife. And it's the same for her. Having gone through that experience, and losing faith for the moment, even losing a little bit of belief in myself in the moment, I was able to save things because I went the route of building belief. How do you build belief? Well, you put the fucking work in on yourself. You don't feel sorry for yourself. You don't sedate and disconnect from the pain. You sit in the pain. You face the pain. That's how you conquer and overcome the pain. You build through the pain. And for a lot of men that I talk to, and for this particular father that I spoke to earlier today, they become their own worst enemy. They are in a prison of their pain, but they're in a prison of their own bullshit. They have lost all belief in themselves. And so for this fellow dad that I had a conversation with earlier today, when it came time to him making a decision for himself to change, to get out of this pit that he's been in for over a year and a half, he didn't have the courage to take that next step. Doubting yourself, overthinking things. It all comes back to the doubt, the fear, the uncertainty that you have in yourself on whether or not you're going to succeed. The only way for you to build trust, belief, certainty, conviction in yourself, if you want to get back the confidence in yourself, if you want to build the value in yourself, you must take action. The magic is in the movement. Nothing is going to change if you sit in your own pit of sorrow and sadness and feeling sorry for yourself. What happened has happened. What the fuck are you going to do about it? As a man of faith, God is putting you through whatever you're going through right now for a reason. You need to level up. And it's crazy when we look at it from this point of view. God's putting us through this. It's his own little sick game. Well, it is what it is. And so what are you going to do with it? Because I know for me, he's given me the greatest of gifts. He's given me my family. Prior to everything that happened with me and my wife before we got married, it made our marriage what it is today. Fucking rock solid, bulletproof. You know, in the 12 plus years that I've been married to her, there has not been one time where I've had any inkling of mistrust in her. Same for me. Rock fucking solid. We got all that stuff out of us prior to. Because she wasn't the bad one. I wasn't perfect either. I mean, she did what she did, but she did it for a reason. I wasn't there. I wasn't connected. I wasn't present. But God put me through that because I needed to develop. And I have what I have today. And I'll fight tooth and nail for it. So if you're listening to this message right now, and you're anything like this father that I spoke with earlier today, you've gone through a separation, a divorce, maybe it's been a couple of years, maybe it was just recently, or maybe you're actually in the shit right now, going through it right now. You're in pain. You don't see any way out of it. I'm telling you right now, there's a way out of it. Starts with making a decision to get yourself out of this pit. You make the choice. I'm not going to stay here anymore. I'm going to pour into me. I'm going to build me. And whatever happens, happens. But living in this world of what if, you're going to keep yourself locked up in that prison that you're creating. I am here to help you bust out of that prison and not only become the best version of you. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you're jacked, you're ripped, you're strong, you're energized, you're an athlete. Your body has become a weapon. It's become one of your greatest assets. I will help you build that but I'll also turn you into a better father, because guess what? Your kids need you. And so for the dad that I was speaking with earlier today, and many that I've talked to before him, it's not just about you. It's about your kids. Your kids need you, their father. Build yourself into the best version of you so you can show up for them and anybody else that is going to come into your life thereafter. God wants you to walk that path. God wants you to be that man. But it starts with you making that decision. If you're ready to make that decision, go below this video, click on the link that I have with this video. Take the next step to join us inside of Forge Father, to unleash that uncommon man that you have within. Become unstoppable with your body, your mind, and your spirit. Everything across the board, we're going to build it. Go below, click the link. I'll be talking to you real soon.